introductions, and we don't have to spend months of meetings. But I need to identify who those clients are for which a non-bespoke build would be a worthwhile opportunity for everybody.
For anyone who has worked in the search space or just even read any of it, it should come as no surprise that content helps a lot with visibility. So we saw in our research that sites with 50 more pages earn 33 times more crawler visits than the median website. If we break that down onto types of pages, we see that while a normal page increases visibility by 4%, blog posts increase it by 7% across our data set of websites. There's a lot of very strong evidence that just creating more content is a very strong way to be recommended more often. Ideally, content that is answer focused. For an SMB, 50 pages might sound extreme, but it's worth thinking about asking your SMB clients the kinds of questions they receive from their customers, or asking about the kind of services they offer.
Oh, Stephanie, you're muted.
I didn't mute myself. Somebody else muted me. It was probably necessary though. What a week it's been.
Wow.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Hey.
How is everybody? Welcome back. Christian, I noticed you still have your name wrong. Jonathan, I'm glad you came back to hang. It's our usual time, so I knew you didn't have plans.
Right? Yeah. It's all right. Dinner's in an hour. It's
and
all
then
good.
Okay, perfect. And then I believe hopefully we've got the rest of the Focus on Your Biz crew in the chat. So anyway, what are we gonna do, V? What's the celebration? Did you guys pop your bubbly?
We'll have my my water, but I should get.
water.
I will go get a drink as well to celebrate here in a second as well, because this is the last session, the wrap up of the Web Agent Summit, round 6. Can you believe it?
It's insane.
Oh my God. The 6th year, and every year it gets crazier and it gets even more fun to run this show, especially with everyone that got involved. We had 59 sessions this year, more than ever. Just so everyone is aware, and a lot of let's give some of the applause to Ryan, who set up the entire event pretty much this year with support from, of course, additional team members, but led completely by Ryan there. Beautifully done, and yeah, the content this year was incredible. The hangouts were amazing. The booths were insane. The arcade games. The whole thing just worked really, really beautifully. So
can we do a shout out for Zachary?
Zachary Mims, the man, the master. Zachary and I have been holding each other up over the past 10 weeks. I think if we go back to like maybe mid-March, Zachary and I have been pulling long hours since then. I hadn't joined Atarim last Web Agency Summit, right? So, there are people in this call with, who don't even work for Atarim, excluding Zeph, with more Web Agency Summit experience. So, we kind of had a vision, we threw it together, and we didn't give ourselves enough time or resources, and we managed to just about hack away with something. So I'm really pleased, and, I've made some fantastic new friends here as well. So when we do it all again, then hopefully, we can get some of you guys back. One other thing that I want to touch on a little bit is some of this survey data that we've got, which is really fascinating. The tenure of how long people have been going, the kind of team size. There's some really interesting stuff here. So we'll wrap up in a second, looking back at the thing. But I think now is a good time to maybe look at some of that, because we've just wrapped up. Let's think about the audience who joined us. The overwhelming majority of like the thing people wanted to know more about anything else was how to bring in more clients and more leads. And I think we had stuff that spoke about that every single day. There was Kev Gibbons' session with our guest, Robert Jacoby. Bob, you touched on this a lot in your session as well. And Carrie, there's all kinds of things that can happen with recurring hosting and hosting there, and InMotion play a big part of that. It feels like every talk, this kind of new clients and leads has really been woven into it. And I think, that's been really great. New tools and tech. We're a community of geeks. It's not just our hosts, right? This is what everybody wants to hear about. That's why, I flattered JJ Toothman by saying, yours is one of the most eagerly anticipated talks of the week. And it was, and that was really exciting hearing about Viv. And then let's not forget Adam Farr as well.
That's his OpenClaw that it was.
That's right.
That he created an employee out of, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then, Adam Fard as well from UX Pilot, a really fascinating business, a really accomplished entrepreneur. You don't get people like him, right? Like you don't get an entrepreneur of a business like that who'll go, yeah, sure, I'll show up for an hour and answer any questions. That was fantastic. Rounding off the things people want to know about, sales and conversion. We've spoken a lot about that, how to scale, profitability. It feels like pretty much every box here we've ticked. And then networking as well has been a big thing. And, I was looking a bit about some of the data compared to last year. The networking lounge, people are coming in, which has been really fun. It's just been a really exciting week. And I want to thank everybody who showed up in the audience as well. And certainly Zata and team, because everyone's been absolutely caning it.
That's awesome. Maybe we can hear from some folks here in the room about these 3 top topics that you mentioned. What is your advice to that? What would you how would you bring more leads in a short sentence so we can do everyone and run through a few points here? Who wants to start? Krayler.
I'll start. I was going to speak anyway. Just make YouTube videos. It's easy. Really though, I mean, YouTube is a lead gen strategy. I don't have an agency, and yet I get emails multiple times a week. Can you give me a quote to build my website? I'm like, no, I can't actually, but thanks for emailing.
Wait, what do you do actually?
I'm full-time on content.
You just do content for other people?
It's just a personality.
Just for Krayler.
Yeah.
He's an influencer.
Yeah, you could say.
He's Mr. Beast. He's the Mr. Beast of WordPress.
Do you pass the leads on, Christian?
I don't, because I have trouble finding agencies that I truly trust, because it's hard for me to be a secret shopper. Like, I don't have the budget to do that. I think that's the only way I would feel comfortable is if I could actually do a website build with an agency, but I don't have an extra 20 grand lying around to be like, let me try this with 4 agencies and see what the outcome is.
Well, you just kind of did that.
Vito, log into, I need an email. It's in accounts at. Look.
What's happening right now with the screen? Why do we keep
I don't know. Who did that?
There's a glitch. It kept. I would try and share my screen or my image, and then it would show Steph's. But yeah, this is some of the data.
Yeah, that's cool. More clients, more leads. What else can we do? So start a YouTube channel. That's number 1. David.
Yeah, I will say when I ran my agency, one of the by far the most effective lead gen strategy for me was a podcast. We built and I did the podcast with a couple of collaborators that were not in the business, and they each had their own specialty. One was a PR person, one was actually just a dedicated SEO when we started, and I didn't really believe in selling SEO at that time. And so what I found is that listeners, people who, and this relates directly to what Christian was just saying, like people who develop that relationship with you as a content creator, as somebody that's in their ear or, on their screen, if you're doing video, they were by far the best leads I ever got. I got a client who came through the podcast. They already believed in the way that we approached our strategy. They had tremendous trust built, and they were ready to go. It is absolutely easy, just like Christian said. So you should just do it. Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah. Nothing easier in the world.
One thing we did was we partnered with agencies that were larger than us. So whenever they got a client that they couldn't handle, but it was the right size for our business, they would then pass that down. So we were already getting like really kind of pre-qualified leads from them because they were not going to hand us junk either. They knew what we would accept. Right. So having those relationships with other agencies was really helpful.
That's interesting.
Maybe a way to kind of chase leads is to respond to RFPs. So that was something that I was always doing. Well, who has a budget? They're going to put out an RFP, and they're going to want to be the kind of client that sticks around. So I was always trying to bring in new business that way.
I think having been on the other side of the world, when I've been commissioning agencies. I remember approaching people and they'd go, "Oh, actually, you're not the right fit for us, but we recommend these guys."
Yeah.
And that was huge for me as a client, right? Because I've clearly picked these guys to go to for a reason. That partnership to get a recommendation, you're making my life easier for me because someone's vouching for you. We're in a world where actually that vouch, that I know someone, you should listen to me on this guy, that's so valuable now. And I absolutely echo that. Like having a network of people above and below you is super valuable for clients as well as agencies.
Yeah, that word of mouth referral just carries so much weight and trust.
Right. And what about you, Bob?
Yeah, if I piggyback on Christian's and David's points, right? There were two things that I was very particular about, which is beyond, you could say, the CEO of the agency or the founder of the agency being the thought leader. They sort of need to make the entire organization or the entire agency a thought network, right? Because this was what I was talking about. You need to think about it from a distribution standpoint.
Right.
Every employee has to be a thought leader from their perspective, right? Because that significantly widens, the surface area. It significantly widens it. And I'll give context.
The outreach.
You're working on the project. You have, let's say, 3 people who have worked on that project. You have the UI designer, you have the developer, and then maybe you've got someone who handles strategy, right? And as individual thought leaders, as employees, right, they're not necessarily talking about the agency itself. They're just giving that POV, creating content from that POV, from the UI, UI UX designer's POV, from the backend developer's POV, from the operations person's POV. They're all functioning as thought leaders, right, within their individual network. That then creates a much, much bigger, thought leadership network. That's the way I think about it, because that's where the future is going to, right? And I think the second thing is going into the gray areas, right? Getting under the customer's skin, their client's skin, because for many agencies, they are quite particular about, just building a website, building an app, but they don't get into the dirty parts, for lack of a better word. So when I say dirty parts, for example, is some, let's say, an e-commerce website, they're having issues with refunds. The way they process refunds is sort of manual, and you build a solution for that sort of allows you to own the customer. So you own the tool, you built it, you own the tool, and then you're charging a subscription off of that as well, right? So you're upselling existing customers and you're increasing revenue sort of horizontally and vertically as well. So that's the way I think about it on that note.
And how about you, Jonathan?
Well, I come from a little different perspective than, I know InMotion hosting, the kinds of clients you get are completely different than what I would get. Because like Christian, I am a creator online, although I do it as a Tolkien fan with a Tolkien community, but that has led into these relationships with other YouTubers that gives me the opportunity to be a strategist for them. And so whatever I get to build for my own community, I get to then recommend as a strategy for somebody else, and I get to test it first. So if it fails miserably for me, I know not to use it, but I can create relationships. So I think the thing is, and we've talked about this stuff in the Focus WP meetings, is like with AI, sometimes you don't even know the questions to ask because everything is out there. It's like going to a grocery store if you've never been to one. Like you don't know where to start. You don't know what to ask. You don't know what kind of solutions are out there. And so when you can guide people to the solutions in AI because you're trying it out and you're working it through, I think that helps a lot. But that's just getting trust, and that's just creating the relationship in order to give them better solutions long term.
Yeah. And the next thing here was new tools and tech. Maybe we can give a tool recommendation or a quick kind of mention from each person. See what should agencies be paying attention to this year when it comes to new technology and new tools. I don't know. I heard of something AI. I don't know. Maybe let's start with Steph. What do you think?
I have no idea what you just asked. I'm so sorry. Could you pass me and go to somebody else?
Yes.
I don't understand why Ryan keeps putting up bar charts.
I put up one bar chart.
The same chart.
I'm so confused.
Yeah. So this is basically, we ran a survey with the people that were with us at the summit this year, and we asked them, what are you looking to learn? What is the thing that you're trying to get from the event? And that's exactly what we're looking at here. So most people would like to get more clients, more leads, at the second level, but almost equal. They want to learn about new tools and new tech, some industry trends, sales conversions, improving sales conversions, and so on and so on. Yeah, but it looks like we got it pretty nailed in because the other was pretty small compared to all of the other ones selected. But I'm thinking about the tools and the tech. What is something new that you saw that you thought was pretty cool to start experimenting with? Maybe I could kick this off with. We've been experimenting internally with a tool called Paperclip, which is
Clippy.
Sorry,
Clippy. It's Clippy.
And it's basically an it's like orchestration layer for OpenClaw. So while OpenClaw is like an employee in that analogy, a Paperclip is like the organization. So you have that, and it's mapped very much like an organization, which leans into how we already know how to build the companies and how an org chart type of operates if we want to get stuff done at good quality. A great way to automate long workflows, but also pretty expensive in terms of processing. And let's say you're bringing in like a local LLMs and things like that. But this is very cool. And the reason why I really liked this one is because it is more of a group approach compared to OpenClaw that is more like a personal tool. This works more like as different team members can log in, they can perform tasks with it. And we've been starting to automate some more and more items through this pretty exciting technology. It's open source. And it's been live for like 3 weeks, so don't do anything too risky with it.
Did you make this?
No, I did not make this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just recommending.
Don't give him any ideas, Steph.
Yeah.
I know, right? I know, right? Guys, I wanted to just say I invited someone else into the chat here. Everybody, I want you to meet Uta.
Hello, Uta.
She hangs out with Jonathan and Andrew and I and the rest of the crew at this time every week. Anyway, and I invited my whole group to join in the live chat. But Uta has been here for every single session, I think. Did you catch every session, Uta, this whole week?
No, I didn't catch every session. I think I skipped maybe. No, it was just 2 or 3 out of 59. Oh. Was it 59? I mean,
it was Vito's, Steph's you missed.
So anyway, I thought Uta's voice would be interesting here as an audience member with some of these questions that we're asking as well.
That's pretty cool. Sure. So Carrie, maybe I can ask you if you have some recommendation of a tool that you've learned on recently that you think is effective for to recommend or bring to the table.
Well, I don't know if anybody's been talking about Claude Design, but that thing's pretty powerful because you can, build different brand guidelines in there for all of your clients and keep it consolidated and do a lot of UX stuff really fast.
Yeah, that's
I kind of think the tool is that we're going to be creating our own tools. Right. And it's going to become easier and easier and easier. And so like I wanted a little, for instance, I wanted on my Mac, I wanted to know, like I listen to a lot of music. And so I wanted to know how much time was left in the song. I don't know. I'm anal about that or something. So I was like, let me just create a little Mac app to do that. So I go into Claude Code and I say, here's what I want, maps it out for me. Great. I have it in 15 minutes. And I didn't need to go get a new tech app or go to AppSumo and get some subscription item. Yeah. So I think people are going to be building their apps. It's all about where you're storing your data. And then we'll have the tools in order to create whatever we want out of that data.
That's cool.
I absolutely agree. If you think about the story of the guy that created OpenClaw, he had retired. I think he exited, the company he built for over $100 million, and then retired, went to some farm, and then AI comes up and is like, "What's going on? You know what? Maybe I'm just going to play around with it, right?" The guy writes OpenClaw in like 2 days, and he's back all of a sudden, right? Everybody's talking about OpenClaw overnight. Right. The next day you have NanoClaw. The third day you got Lobster, whatever. All the claws just keep coming, right? And this goes back to, I think, one of the sessions I had with, I'm not sure whether it's AP or Ryan, where I was saying what I think agencies need to do a lot is experiment, right? R&D. AI is sort of the new foundation. If you think about the internet as the digital economy, right, where you have sort of everything that is in digital economy is more like just buildings, it's just a different world on its own. It's like Ready Player One, right? So it's up to you to decide what you want to build, right? If you, even Claude, Claude itself, they're experimenting, they're building new tools, right? I'm sure Claude probably wrote Claude design. Does that make sense? Right. So you're seeing that happening, across different levels. So I think what's really important for many agencies is to experiment, do a lot of R&D. That's what I think, and that would then allow them to create the right tools they need for themselves.
And what do you think, Krayler? Do you have some recommendation on that front as well?
Oh, I don't know that I have like agency specific tools. I also don't know that I have new tools. I mean, I used Gamma.app for my slides. That was fun. They didn't pay me to say this, but honestly, if an agency was like, "What tools would we use?" I would say Adderim. Like I think it's a super cool tool, but not sponsored.
But it could be.
Could be.
Could be.
It's only not sponsored.
I use it
because
every
there's
day.
no budget, so
It's amazing. I couldn't do my job without it.
I will
literally
confess
couldn't do
to
my job
being a
without
little
it. It's great.
behind.
Well, that's probably
I
because your
use
job
as
is to
agency.
sell
I'm
it.
using,
So
user number 2.
Yes, user number not number 3.
No,
Yeah, number 2. Yeah, number 3.
number 3.
Kyle was number 2. Before
well,
I
I'm
knew
a
you.
troublesome employee, so
I was going to say I thoroughly enjoyed what you shared, Vito, this afternoon or this evening, depending on which time we're talking. But I hadn't seen the product in a while, and so I was behind on what you've built, and I was truly impressed. I'm not shocked, but impressed.
Thank
So
you.
I almost wish I had an agency so I could go and build some.
Me
We've been so
too.
busy
I
now.
feel the same way.
I think you've touched on something really important there, right? And Vito did himself a disservice when we were talking about, we launched the AI in November. Well, really, we had this working in June, right?
We had like
prototypes.
a proof of concept in June. Yes.
Yeah, it was doing stuff for us then. And, I remember using the AI to help me make the website for the AI. And since then, we've changed a lot in what the capability of the system is and the way the chat works and stuff like that. So I think, we did a big push when we announced Atrium AI in the Inner Circle, and it is remarkably different since then. It's almost like, another leap ahead. And with V5 that Vito was showing today, it just opens up even more for us. So yeah, I think it's been a
actually,
really...
I haven't shown V5, but V5 is coming, and V5. This is after 6 years of trying to tackle this exact problem. And again, this was all the talks that we were talking. Everyone was talking about the same concept of become the expert of your tiny little thing, and our thing has been this thing that is hyper relevant to a small group of people, which is exactly that level of focus that I like to operate in, where it was feedback and workflow. And so how can we tackle more and more of that? So V5 is I think is going to be a game changer, and I can't wait to start sharing more and more about this as this comes in. But we can already see today the announcement was the do it button. If Steph has the
you gotta
do it.
Yeah.
I can see that reference in my head every time I hear that. Ben Stiller.
Me too.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it. Come on,
or
do it.
this one.
Yeah, I was thinking the Shia LaBeouf one. That's my favorite.
I'm thinking Stiller straight away.
Yeah, Ben Stiller for me.
Yeah. But this is this all moves pretty fast, and we're trying to be at the very, very forefront of all of this. And I think that one place that we have an interesting edge there is the fact that we sit on the highest fidelity, on the element level. So any of the LLMs that are trying to talk to websites from the outside and don't have that level of visibility and level of focus on a singular item where we attach those comments, it gives a pretty cool edge when it comes to all of these micro interactions that come in, for sure. And maybe we can take that opportunity because to just run a few seconds from Adderim to try and see what that looks like nowadays.
Fancy.
Fancy, huh?
thought this was supposed to be the party.
Yeah,
Why are we
let's
still
party.
selling?
Let's party.
Why are we still
I
selling?
wasn't.
We're just
I wasn't
buying
counting.
gas.
There's like some confetti there. When you click do it, it's like a party.
We can do that.
The driest thing you could say. Just show some confetti.
Yeah, there it is.
Nice.
There it is.
I would like to hear from Uta about what your perspective was on the summit this year. Oh, that's good.
Oh my goodness, that's a huge question to answer at this time in the morning.
Yeah, what time
It's
is it for you?
It's 1 o'clock in Central Europe from AP, UPI, and the major American networks. No, it's 1 o'clock in the morning for me, and I've pulling the same shifts that you have been pulling, so I'm tired. I can't sum up 4 days full of everything. But when this talk just started, I thought that you need to give Ryan more time to speak next year.
I agree.
He bursted. He came in here and bursted talking.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, because we haven't let him talk all week. He's been stuck in the back
Trust
room.
me, if you worked at Atarim, no one is going, you know what, we need to let Ryan talk more. I'm pretty sure if we were hybrid, they'd be like, yeah, Ryan can come, only if he stays in his house in Essex, doesn't come and sit next to us and talk. Like, why you know that thing from The Office is like, why use lots word when few word do trick? Just the opposite. Just the opposite, right? Why use a few words when I can just monologue? Which is why I've been trying to not.
I picked up on that a bit. Listen, I like to be the one who's filling all the space.
Yeah, a lot of people here do, don't they?
I mean, I think it's kind of the nature of the beast, though, right? Like we're the ones that want to get up and have a to talk. And the first summit that I was a part of, I had applied to speak, and Vito hit me up and was like, "Hey, we actually have a lot of we're full on speakers right now. How would you feel about co-hosting?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, I get to talk the whole time. Like I get to be up on for all the time. I get to meet everybody, and I don't have to write a talk. Like, I'm in." What happened to my sidekick, by the way? Where's Andrew?
I think he's dealing with something in the background. But how about we continue on to talk a little bit about what has happened today, because it was a jam-packed final day. I'll bring this up to the stage so we can have a look at some of the amazing sessions that we've had here and try to pick up some gold nuggets as we do every end of day here at the Web Agency Summit. If you haven't joined and you're just watching this from the outside just right now, as we're doing the final wrap-up, you can still come in, because all of those replays are going to be live on our platform over the next week. And so make sure that you go to summit.atarim.io and you can catch all the replays from all the 59. Yeah, please.
That's summit.atarim.
That's right. Did you say it twice? Yeah.
One thing we're doing new this year is there's a lot of content, 59 sessions, right? It's a big old chunk of content. It's a lot for anybody to get through. So this year we'll be introducing the Agency Insights Playbook, where we're making a 30-page PDF. No, I'm kidding. We're going to take all of the write-ups. We're going to compare talks, compare what people are saying. It was nice. We had a bunch of contrarian opinions with people opposing this year. So we're not going to just give you the videos and let you crunch through them. We're going to take out all the golden nuggets. We're going to distill them. We're going to make jewelry out of those nuggets and give it to you for free as well. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And as we're bringing the stage back here, I want to give a big shout out to Bob and the UltaHost team that has been hosting the Summit platform this year. Done an amazing job making sure that everything is nice and fast and steady, and like I forgot who said it. I think Simon from Host Armada mentioned this earlier today, that if it's a good hosting, a good hosting because you don't even think about it. And that's exactly what we've seen here. So thank you very much, Bob, and the entire UltaHost team. maybe that would be the last ad that I will place here. But
tired of wasting time deciding on web hosting or a domain name for your business? Meet Alta AI, the new smart AI-powered hosting advisor from AltaHost that recommends perfect hosting in seconds. Just ask a question or choose a domain.
Let me quickly search for the domain and see if it's still available for registration.
Alta AI analyzes your input and shows you exactly what you need. No logins, no complications. From WordPress to e-commerce, gaming to complex projects, and beyond, Alta AI instantly points you to the ideal hosting choice. Make every second count. Ask your question. Launch your dream today. AltaHost. Settle your online life.
Pretty
how was
good,
this?
right?
Very cool. How was this event for you, Bob? We have partners that have joined us over the years, and I'm grateful to everyone that is able to help us run this show every single year. But you guys joined for the first time, and you took the top slot. You had a good time.
Yes, we have, and I'm sort of looking forward to next year.
That's awesome.
But I think beyond that, when we had the What Not to Miss session, one thing that I was particular about was I am looking forward to the positive comments from agencies at the end of the summit, where they come back with feedback to say, this is what I learned, and this is what I did, and this is the outcome. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, right? Because that's really where the value is. If not, then we're just gathering and, enjoying each other's faces at the end of the day, right? So that's what I'm really, really looking forward to. In the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and then next year.
There's some really interesting success stories that we've heard over the years of people that showed up randomly into the summit, and then 2 years later they run their own little empire, and they picked up a few points here when they first kicked things off. So it's very exciting to see this over the years for sure.
Well, Jimmy Rosen is a really good example of that, right? I mean, anybody who speaks to Jimmy Rosen for more than a couple of minutes realizes that man is a businessman through and through. But I understand, Vito, you met him way back. He first spoke at a Web Agency Summit like in 21. And we deliberately brought him back 5 years later, being, did you build the agency of your... Oh, you did. Oh, wow. and you're happy and profitable. Right. And you're working less than last year. It can be done. Everyone, this guy did it. That's huge.
We did it.
That's awesome.
I think this year has the potential to do that, maybe even more so, because there were so many experts that were giving away a playbook basically in their talks.
So we started.
Like, this is what I learned. This is what you should do.
We started with the first panel of the day with Raitis and Elena, and that we're talking about how agencies can go through communities. Who was I think it was you, Steph, there? Oh, it's Andrew.
No.
Sorry, this was the panel that WP Bakery ran.
Right.
With Andrew here as well. Yeah, Andrew's back.
Well, I'm working.
What was your perspective on this?
Well, I love these guys. I am doing some work, honestly. We know these people well. They know how to run a community. I ran a community of 30,000 people in a Facebook group. It's one of the reasons I met Stephanie as well, and it's what I knew about Stephanie and Focus WP, and also Elegant Themes group that I used to run, or the Elegant Marketplace group, 33,000 members. We always encourage people to help rather than hinder, call people idiots, or do other things. Be nice, be kind, and dropping deposits, like we've got a saying, haven't we? Drop deposits. And this is what these guys were just confirming. They know what they're doing. Ratis runs a couple of communities. Bogdan particularly runs about 7 different communities. Crazy. So yeah, that's what it's about. Using agencies or freelancers or anything, using communities to grow their business, but in a very subtle, very helpful way.
And then we had yes, sorry.
They were talking about a mindset of giving before expecting, and I like that a lot. It's
Yeah,
like
me too.
people you want to be with and work with are like that, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we this is exactly the point of that Andrew was talking about. In the we call that making deposits. Yeah, and it's kind of this analogy of a relationship needs deposits if you want to make withdrawals, or else it goes in the red. And so that's exactly the same mentality with clients, with users, and you can't keep withdrawing unless you make the deposits constantly and proactively into that relationship.
Mike Demo also touched upon that in his presentation.
Yes.
He does.
I was just trying to remember who that was. He put up a couple really good quotes. Do you remember them?
We're not there yet, are we?
Oh, sorry.
Jumped up.
Well, don't use AI to replace your client relationships.
Right.
Keep it human. That's what they're expecting. It's just AI cannot understand the nuances, and your clients, they want to talk to you as a human.
Mike Demo said, or is it Mike? Yes, Mike Demo said, tools are tools, just don't be one. I like that.
Yeah. We used to have he said, we used to have a podcast together. I was the podcaster, he was the producer director, just like Ryan. And it was a great podcast we ran when it was all part of the deal. Carrie probably remembers this. You were with, were you with InMotion when I was bought and I sold my soul?
Demo was there.
I started in 2019, so
yeah, just
around you were then. You were then, yeah. We did. We crossed swords, definitely. Yeah, so we had a podcast together as well. That was a very good. I used to love it because we used to interview plugin developers, but in a certain way, not in a promotional way. Just how did they get there? Why did they did it? And most plugin developers we know, Vito, WP feedback was to scratch an itch that you had, and then you thought, right, okay, I'm going to do this as a thing.
And right after that, we had this a bit of a fun session with Bud here, revealing the winners of the Name That Voice game that we played on Monday. Right after that, back to business with Mark. And I thought that was a really interesting conversation that we had together. It was primarily around a main video that he. So Mark is a freelancer, but also a YouTuber that talks about the work of a website professional from his perspective or his point of view, and he launched a video that the title was something like "I lost a client to Claude." Right, and that video went viral, and the feed of comments that was in there was so interesting to go through. And I thought the video itself was interesting, also because you see Mark is extremely confident and stuff. But I didn't say to him on the interview itself. But when I watched that video, it felt like he just shut down the phone and started filming it. So you could see he was still kind of processing the whole thing, the whole experience of that happening for the first time to him. And you could see him hyperventilating even to some degree, trying to tell the story. So I thought that was a very interesting human moment to kind of watch that. And I think that's why it resonated with so many people. So we brought him in to talk about that experience, to talk about what is shaping up Sense, how does that shape his own perspective on his business, and how he's leaning in a lot more to AI, and was pretty much a pivotal experience for that at that point, which was pretty cool. And then right after that, it was Simeon who was talking. We already kind of said to me, the main point here was the intentional approach to hosting, where it's not just making it a transparent layer in the background, but bringing it to the front and talking about how stable it is and showing how effective the work is, so that you can actually charge the premium for it, and that it also has a perceived value in the eyes of client only if described. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I would love to hear some thoughts from the hosters folks here that are with us. What do you guys think about this mentality of being intentional on how you offer hosting to your clients, not just bundled into the care plan or something like that?
Are you talking about hosts like me and Andrew, or hosts
No.
like
I would
alt?
say,
Like alt I didn't
let me refer
just realize,
to Gary,
I'm
David,
hosting.
and Bob. We have 3 representatives here in the room, and I would love to hear your perspective on this. Not you guys. I've been talking to you too much already this week. That's enough.
Are you sure you don't want us? Because
You can. You have a point.
No, but
I
that
have
never
one.
stopped me from talking before. Uta's got one. See, I told
Yeah.
you you'd be great to have one here, Uta.
What was the question?
Yeah.
Uta, go ahead.
Simeon said that technical issues can become a relationship issue, and I thought that was really interesting, and it's true.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And the main question that I was talking about is his approach to this being intentional about offering hosting to your clients, not on your own, but through professional providers and things like that, where the idea is to not make it seem like it's a transparent layer, because if you do it and no one knows about it, it's like you're not doing it. And so actually, yes, talking about the hosting layer, yes, bringing up what it does for you and where is the value in it, rather than just bundling it in the care plan, saying, yeah, the website is live.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
I didn't get that talk, but I will say I've had some really fascinating conversations here recently with some of the clients that we have, some of our hosting customers, and one in particular is a guy who's built 600 Magento stores.
Wow!
And along the way, his MO with hosting is he comes to Nexus, creates the account on behalf of the client, uses their name and email address, puts their billing information in, so they have a direct relationship with us, but he's the person that runs it all, and so they never actually ultimately deal with us directly, except if something goes sideways, perhaps in that relationship between him and his client, and then their relationship is stable. I thought it was a really fascinating approach, though, because he makes the decision. He said, "Look, I'm gonna choose the host that's best for this situation, and I'll create all of that and put it in place." But I thought it was a good way to do that. It in terms of transparency, they get a separate bill. He's not trying to make money in a way that's deceptive or whatever. But at the same time, he's providing that service in the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, our agency program is going to facilitate the similar kind of process. So agencies working with us, they're providing all of the managed services, the creative stuff, the website development, but putting that on our own hosting infrastructure. And and kind of same process. They can either pay for it directly, the agency, or they can have the client be the one responsible, but it all boils up to the agency as like kind of the overall umbrella account owner.
Right.
Yeah. I think for us, it's sort of the how do I put it? I'd say it's sort of the best of both perspectives, right? Because I mean, there's some agencies who would prefer that experience, as we found, where they just want the clients to have direct access to their accounts, right? But they then manage the entire thing. But what we've then done on top of that is, for us, we want to still give agencies some type of control. So the billing is still managed, the accounts are still managed by the customers, but there's some sort of what you would call like a super admin access, right? That still governs, it's almost similar to what you have with the reselling hosting model, right? But it's not exactly the same. So they sort of still have like a central model that allows them to manage, the different accounts individually, right? And then, from our perspective, if they are doing that, they are maintaining the agencies, we're always happy to make sure that there's some sort of revenue incentive, right? That they're still getting, albeit, the payment is handled directly by the customer, right? So it's sort of creating the balance, right? It varies, right? I'm providing both options.
Yes, and that was so I want to thank first of all of you guys for supporting the event, and as well as Host Armada that has been joined us for the first year as well. And right after that, I dove into a really interesting conversation with Alex. It started with a presentation about how to say no, and why starting with saying no is actually the right approach, especially if you're trying to grow intentionally. Again, it's the same type of word that he used a lot on his talk as well. And then it evolved into half an hour of interrogation as to how does the biggest enterprise agency in Europe operates, and how does that look like, and what are the what does red flags look like for him. How did he grow to this? What is everything in between? So I thought that was a very interesting talk if you want to learn about the enterprise side of websites, but also if you have a few clients.
Side?
Sorry?
See what you did there. The enterprise side?
Right? Maybe that's how it came from. Maybe. That's when I thought about grade, because we had grade speaking yesterday, and I was like, enterprise grade. Maybe that's where it's from. So this was pretty interesting. If you want to catch that after, if you have clients that you think are maybe taking advantage of you a little bit, and it's hard to have these conversations, it's hard to manage these relationships. He gave a lot of really solid advice around this.
With Alex.
And then after that, it went to Andrew.
Wait.
Yes, please.
I have something to say about Aside, because this was the guy closest to me geographically. So he's in Essen, I think, and I'm near Cologne, so this is absolutely the closest. Right. And he's so much bigger than I am. But still, what he said applied to my small business as well as to his big business. And I thought that was interesting. He said a sentence that most bad clients don't trick you. You convince yourself. And that is true all over the place, right? Even if it's not clients.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's a good one.
I had the pleasure of just kind of being told, hey, you should talk to Alex at Side. He's a bit of a big deal. I think you'll like him. It's like, oh, okay, let's get him in as a speaker. To say I was not familiar with that man's game is an understatement. I put in the chat, like, if he wasn't running an agency, he would be running a country. And I completely believe that. He's really, really exceptional. And, you know, I think very highly of an awful lot of our speakers. But, man, Alex he's a switched on chap. He's a very, very clever guy, and his agency sounds incredible.
I was very impressed by him. Yes,
just because he's German.
And after this,
because he said about AI makes a developer faster, but not the project, and added as an example, 6 women don't have their pregnancy faster than 1, just because they're 6, and he was good.
I have to sit on that one for a while. That's interesting.
No,
you know what? It didn't translate right. I'm guessing. That's better in German. That one isn't everything.
Maybe. No, definitely not.
Next up,
I love the story from this one.
I missed this one completely. I gotta catch the replay on this one.
Yeah, so he had a story about how an AI chatbot was built by an agency for an e-commerce brand, and the AI chatbot somehow it did it, or it got infiltrated, and it generated a 50% off coupon code. That code got shared on Reddit. It spread like wildfire, and by the time the e-commerce brand realized what happened, they lost 200,000 pounds in revenue. And so where do you go to like make up for that lost revenue? Because, you know, they weren't going to go back to all these people who made purchases and say, oh no, you got to pay full price. Instead, they went after the agency for that lost revenue because they're the ones who built the thing.
It's like the story that agencies tell each other when they're camping, you know, like a spooky horror story. That's what it reminds me of here, because that's borderline the worst case scenario that could happen to an agency, right? Absolutely horrifying.
That was the topic of the very first panel, wasn't it? And they kind of hesitated to tell the real stories, but this guy told all the meat. I love that.
the horror stories. That's awesome.
Yes, it was Horror Stories 2.0.
Remind me
there's
never to go
real-
camping with Ryan. I don't.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's so many real
No, you're
security
coming camping with me,
backdoors.
David. I'll be in California. You'll be in Southeast Anglia. We'll do it. I've got tents. It'll be cool.
Camping with
dog.
Ryan will be blood dripping from your ear within 5 minutes or something like that.
I thought we were friends, Yuta.
I'm all of
are.
a sudden
I am
I'm
like
even
this.
more in love
That's
with
how-
Uta than possible.
That's how you know you're friends with Uta, actually. Yeah.
I always think that he's on some kind of amphetamine or something. It's below. It's just like, you know, how do you talk so fast?
All right, what's next, V?
Back to you, Steph.
Oh, that's me. That was me and Raquel. This was like I felt like there was like, you know, the entrepreneur pace of the conference, and it was all exciting things and big things. And then Raquel started out by saying, like, let's all just take a deep breath. Let's calm down a little bit. Let's think about what we're doing here. My takeaway from her talk was, don't let your why be defined by somebody else's why, which I think is very easy to do. We talk more about it as women. I think we tend to sort of get sucked into some like family roles and things like that. But I think we also just talk about it more. I think men also do as well, and they get caught up in what they think they should be doing and should be accomplishing and all that, rather than what their actual real passions and drivers are. So anyway, it was interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a
And-
quote from her, and that was, "Wherever my feet are is where I will build community," and I like that.
That's beautiful. And
And
that's
Brestov
so
was amazing
that's
as
so
well.
Raquel.
She does such a great job. You know, it's kind of inspirational for me as the junior production assistant for Web Agency Summit to see what, you know, Raquel managed to make happen in Arizona. It's remarkable. Yeah, she's a clever cookie.
And
Then
right after this,
Jonathan came up.
That's right, Jonathan.
My boy, Jonathan.
This was my favorite.
And that
one.
was a speed experience after Raquel. I mean, it kind of blew the
to the other
I talk
side
fast.
of the. Yeah.
It was good though. What a great story, Jonathan.
Yes.
Also, you should tell more stories on Thursday. I felt like I learned so much about you. I hang out with you every week,
I know, right? Well,
and I knew nothing.
I just
We
I
should
just need to be
give
asked.
you
I
more
guess.
time, yes, to talk.
We should
guess
talk.
everybody's
We'll
got a
make you
story.
talk more.
That's
Yeah,
it.
so
You're in
a
for an
lot of
hour
fun.
slot next year, mate.
No,
It's confirmed. You heard it here first. Our first
All right.
confirmed speaker for WAS 7.
So, Jonathan,
yeah.
maybe you can give us a summary from your point.
So-
What are the golden nuggets that we should take away from this?
So sometimes some of us have a side passion that we like a lot, and I think it's a really good idea to try and figure out how there might be ways to integrate that into your agency. In the sense that I love Lord of the Rings. I've been doing it for 27 years. I had one of the largest Lord of the Rings fan sites on the internet with 50,000 people a day at the height of it. But I never leaned into the relationships that I made because I thought it was kind of goofy and kind of silly and a little side gig. But I leaned back into that after being what do you call it? Generalist, right? We just build websites because we built CMSs back in the day. We built like their websites for anyone. But over the last 5 years, after the pandemic and everything shut down in California and we were kind of forced out, everything slowed down and I kind of leaned back into it. And I'm creating relationships and creating community and realized, this is an opportunity for me to do something that allows me to create relationships with people that have a need. Because a lot of people are renting their spaces, they're creators on YouTube and creators on TikTok and Instagram, wherever, but they don't have a website, they don't have their own place. And now with AI being the policeman for YouTube, people are getting shut down without having a way to go back to it, and they might lose their entire community. My wife has a friend who had 60,000 Instagram followers, and she lost it all. No explanation why. Couldn't talk to her community, and so I'm building a really totally nascent business, only a few months old at this point, but already like the difference in the kinds of clients and the kinds of right. I'm a strategist now. I'm not just a tool for them, and so for me it was like your passion can inform the things that you do, and not that kind of a tool. Uta.
One thing I'm getting there, Jonathan, is this is one of the themes that came up again and again this year, right? It's like you can't just be a commodity, you can't just be a builder. You've got to have that strategy, and I think this is where we got that from as well, right? Because you're preaching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
You know
that
what? This
was
is
the essence of 25 years presented in 25 minutes.
Mm.
You have to watch that replay. It's awesome.
Oh,
It's
thanks, man.
awesome.
It was really, really good, Jonathan. It reminded me, like when you were saying, like you were kind of embarrassed a little bit because it's a nerdy hobby. And just recently, I heard somebody talking about the Renaissance festivals, and they're like how they're like so cringe and all this stuff. And the other person was like, "Yeah, but these are people that have a thing they like. They go and do a fun thing outside. They have a blast. They're not spending a ton of like they're not doing anything bad. Like it's only good and fun. And it's like, why do we want to rag on people who are out there living their best life? You know? So anyway, that really stuck with me. And so I thought when you said that, I'm like, that's one of those kind of things. Like, you know what? And I some of it comes with age too, right? You did a lot of that in your 20s.
Yeah.
And now.
Yeah, you want to be the cool guy in your 20s. You want to build a cool business for cool businesses, right? And that was where like I got distracted because I'm like, oh, this is a little funny side thing. But like I said in my talk, I had a meeting with the chief marketing officer of New Line Cinema.
Right.
Like that was a connection. Like that's a connection. Like where else would I get that? I wouldn't get that by creating a dentist website. You know, so, but I never leaned into it because I was a young guy in my early 20s and I was, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, this was all brand new. It came on really quickly. And I wish I could go back and like lean into that
Hindsight
a whole lot more than I did.
And whatnot.
Yeah.
And right after this, David, you took the stage.
I did. Y'all are brave.
Wish I had a ringing telephone audio.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That would have been good.
So how was the session for you? And maybe you could give us some of the key points from your perspective.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I had a blast. First of all, so that's a 1/4-inch patch cable, which we talked about in the What Not to Miss session, and that was the device that telephone operators used to connect calls.
Right.
For the first 50 years, every phone call that was made required the intervention of a human. And so it just really was a look at how technology
50
changed.
years? It took 50 years?
Someone invented an automated switch for phone calls within the first 10 years.
Okay.
But it took 50 years before operators were automated out of the loop.
Wow.
And hilariously, the guy that built the first switch did it because he thought the operator in town was sending his business to other people. He was an undertaker, and he found out one of his friends had been buried by someone else, and so he decided that the operator in town was sending business elsewhere, and so he said, we got to get these people out of the loop. They're too easily influenced. So we took a little dive through telephone history and how really you can draw a direct line. Look at that. That's early Google right there. Those are huge Rolodexes, if you will, where these telephone operators are looking information up to connect calls. And you can draw a straight line from them all the way to AI today, right? This is when you pick up your phone and now you speak into it. But, 125 years ago, you might pick up the phone and say, hey, give me a florist. And now you pick up your phone and you say, hey, give me a florist.
So true.
I'm pretty much of a history nerd, so I enjoyed your stories. And the thing is that nowadays everything goes so much faster with AI. It's not, you don't have 50 years and a lifelong career in being an operator at a phone company or something. It can be gone tomorrow if you don't do the right thing.
Yeah, and that's
if you don't reinvent yourself all the time.
Right.
And that was your point.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's ask what is it that our customers are really buying from us? What is it they're really gaining from our interactions? And let's figure out how to make sure we can continue to deliver that despite whatever technological change is happening.
Like with the ice boxes, you said they buy the cold, not the ice itself, right? So that's interesting.
That is interesting. Nobody needs a 1/4-inch drill bit. Remember that? You know that line? Nobody needs a 1/4-inch drill bit.
They need
Some
a 1/4-inch
people need
hole.
a 1/4-inch hole.
Exactly.
They need the hole.
And you could take,
Yeah.
And you could take it even farther than that and say, not everybody even needs a 1/4-inch hole. What they need is to hang a picture on it
Right.
But it's not even that they need to hang a picture. It's that they need to get their wife off their back for nagging them about hanging the picture. So you can like keep taking it.
I
So you can
thought
take it
you'd
with
been
your
talking to
clients
Mrs. Barnes.
You can take it with your clients then and just go, when they say they want the flaming logo, then you go deeper to figure out what it is that they actually want or need.
It's that 3 layers of why. Ask why 3 times to get to the actual thing. And
I think
after
we've
this,
also
Andrew
need to
was hanging
counsel
out.
them as well, and, you know, we have to console our clients, don't we, a lot, and counsel them, and they tell us about. We've had a situation today where a website person came to us and said, "Can you remove my business partner from the website?" And we had to go back to the business partner and said, "You've been asked to be removed from the website." God damn it! I'll remove her. You know, all this kind of stuff. So we're right in the middle of a business dispute. Crazy.
And so after that, you got to hang out with Jimmy. We spoke about Jimmy briefly already earlier today. He's the founder of Angry Creative, which is the biggest WooCommerce agency in the Nordics. Built an amazing operation there. Went off to buy quite a few agencies to expand his client portfolio, build up his MRR. And yeah, what did you learn, Andrew?
The biggest thing, I learn from Jimmy every time I speak to him, but the biggest thing I learned is that he's doing automated sales, and that's increased his job, because we've commented that he doesn't actually do any work anymore, and that's true. He's basically bored, so he's finding things for himself to do, because he's automated the process of feedback with clients, designing stuff. He's got boilerplates. Still, he's using the same kind of mentality that he had when we met him in 2019, and but he's just interested in buying businesses, not necessarily to increase his revenue, but to increase his placement within the world of the web. So he's buying lots of agencies, but he's buying 2 at the moment, or going through that. But he's also kind of only interested in the work that he wants to do for the client. So he's probably, reading in between the lines, he's probably dumping a few of those clients as well, saying, you're not our fit, find someone else. But through effectively using AI, monitoring time management, doing a bit of change management, he's built himself a pretty good business there. That's what I learned, really.
So Vito, one of the reasons. Sorry, go on, Yuta.
I thought that story about this guy who did nothing but build buttons that he employed was really funny. It's like I thought the topic of his, or the name of his session, could have been The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it turned out he wasn't even good at, it turned out he wasn't even good at it, and they found out that he couldn't do anything else either.
Yeah, his whole job was buttons. It was like, what the heck is going on?
Just building buttons.
Yeah.
I was going to say, one of the
an
reasons
excellent
I was so
interviewer
excited to get Jimmy on board was because we were talking about this earlier. He was doing a presentation 5 years ago, and we were able to come back here and kind of revisit where he's come and that journey, right? And he's a great example of what you can do if you put your brain to it and you make some right decisions. But as he said, like he brought in the external CEO. He wasn't trying to make it like he's landed on everything perfectly. There are challenges there. I think it was really important we have someone like Jimmy to show what that journey looks like. You saw him 5 years ago. This is where he is now. I think he was definitely one of the sessions I was most excited for that.
Yeah, he's since got rid of that CEO though. That's
exactly,
Jimmy.
yeah.
It's like, you can't run my business like me. It's no good. Go away. So he let go of him. But he's a character for sure. Openly admits to being ADHD, swapping around, moving around, changing.
And then right after that, Andrew, you were with Bridget.
I was, yeah. She's secretly very good at what she does. If you follow her on,
it's a secret.
And, no, she's like one of because a couple of years ago, she was struggling to get work, right? But she's very adaptable, really resilient. And, with all the consolidation of the host, she used to work for hosts and specialize in helping product owners market themselves. And with AI, the last 2 years, AI has kind of made its way into our product making, if you like. And marketing and all that kind of stuff. So she suffered a little bit, that's her backstory, but she's just fighting on to doing the right things at the right time, doing videos on LinkedIn. She's one of our most resilient members of the community, I think. She's very kind and very, she's awesome. And she helped us with WP feedback back in the day as well. And I think she did well. She got some very good exposure. So yeah, I really enjoyed what she was saying.
Devin and Matt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she's right, use your complaints to improve your product, write blog posts about it, to really answer the objections. So like she's saying, pick one objection per week, write a post, use it in a conversation.
Right.
And I think it works. Yeah, we kind of tend to do that here as well. If someone has an objection, we've generally got an answer,
Yeah, you try to address it. You don't ignore it. Yeah, but
You
she's
don't
talking
ignore
about
it at all, no,
just
you-
make this an angle. Whenever these
Exactly.
things happen, it's an opportunity for an angle.
Exactly.
Any other thoughts on this one, Ute? Maybe from did you catch this one?
Just parts of it. I had to eat at some point.
And so after this, we went into a panel with some folks that are still with us here in this room. And so this was this was ran by Adam, who is an amazing MC. I've seen him at CloudFest before, and he interviewed me at a podcast there with Elaine a couple of 2 months ago, and also at PressConf he was on stage leading the event there. So looks like he's.
But I don't like it. I didn't like having him here. We don't need that kind of
more hosts
comparison.
What did you think about the?
We're brilliant.
Yeah, Steph, your place is reserved for sure.
It
And
was
how
really
was the
nice to have
session?
Jake along. I really enjoyed listening to kind of the angle that he kind of brought. He's not someone I'd met before, and this is another thing that I can kind of thank Adam for. The past few days, he just kind of took this by the horns and put it all together with an agenda and some great questions. And yeah, Jake, he's a really serious operator, right? Like Fueled is an amazing agency, and he's a really clever entrepreneur. And it was clear, like everything that he was talking about, he'd kind of dealt with. He had that experience thing here, but he wasn't jaded, right? He wasn't like, oh, I've been here before, I know how to deal with this. He's like, the only thing I've learned is kind of how to adapt. And that was the vibe I got from him, right? Like he's still adapting. He's still got that youthful energy to try and tackle stuff. And I found that really inspirational.
I think anybody who shows up wearing a blazer, we got to pay attention. You know what I mean? I think that's the only blazer of the event.
I think that's true.
Yeah, we're more of a hoodie crowd.
And we also wore a blazer when I saw him at PressConf a couple of weeks ago. We got to hang out there.
Classy guy, Jake Goldman.
Yeah, classic guy, and we had a very interesting conversation exactly about the same topics that kept coming up here at the summit this past week as well, which was very interesting. Before we wrap this up with demo, how was anyone else has?
Oh my God, I
notes
got
on this
so
one?
scared.
Additional
Vito, I
code
thought you were
nuggets?
gonna
Yeah.
do another demo. I was like, no.
I should.
Let's wrap this up with a demo. Please, no.
Yeah. With Mike.
The demo gods have been on your side this week, Vito.
The what? Sorry.
The demo gods have been on your side this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. They're tricky, the demo gods, when you're trying to show stuff on camera, especially. But this time it worked very, very nicely. And Andrew, you were hanging out with demo here at the beginning, and we talked briefly about this session as well.
What do you want me to say? Sorry, I'm deleting things.
First thing is who can pronounce
straight
that
to
word? Apocalypse.
I'm gonna try again.
Apocalyptimist. Rito definitely cannot pronounce it.
Come on,
100%.
say it, Vito.
It already happened. It's recorded. It's kickoff today. I tried to do it live. It did not work, so I'm not gonna try it again. But
Apocalyptimist, you guys.
Apocalyptimist.
Apocalyptimist. Yeah,
you did it.
Okay. It worked eventually. So, what was that? Apocalyptimist.
Hey.
Can we say it 3 times?
Please don't.
If you do, does demo appear?
Uta, give us a catch up on this talk because Andrew's busy.
Well, he's kind of started or said at some point, and I thought that was fun. I'm not married to a CMS. I'm in an open source relationship. I like that.
That's a super funny and appropriate joke. He is he was the only speaker who came in incognito mode. He's in his shades and his hat. We're not even sure it's really him.
And he made he made references to the history of communication too, that kind of not long after you, David, with that I like that too.
Yeah, and give some cool examples here for this as well. And right after that, we had a session to talk about the learnings from the summit. And Ryan, you did the research for this. Maybe you can tell us what did you find from that?
Yeah, sure. So when we were looking at this, I'm going to go back even further. When we were talking about bringing our Web Agency Summit back and we were having these discussions in January, we knew we wanted to have a theme that kind of unified everything. In previous Web Agency Summits, that would kind of slap us in the face when it had come to the end. And we wanted to try and have a hypothesis and find the answer as we went through. And this question was, what does an agency look like in 2 years? And we explored a bit on the panels and in the studios and in these discussions. So that was kind of the angle that we were looking at here. And what was really clear was that pretty much everybody was saying the same things, right? And they were that, you can't just be a commodity. You can't just be doing the same stuff as everybody else. You have to be strategic now. And this is something even myself, Frechette, was saying, right? Like she just gets paid as an expert now. That's what she does. She's not doing the big bespoke builds because they'll kill you. They'll make you old, right? They'll strip away at your working capital. If you can be that strategic influence, that's really big. And another thing that some of our speakers were talking about was everyone was saying it's either 70-30, right? Everybody can do that 70%. Right, that's 70% of a web build. Anybody can do it. It's that 30% that sets you apart. It's that 30% that makes it different. That's the strategic thing that people want to take advantage of here. So I found that really interesting. These are themes that we've been talking about for a long time, but just because we've got Claude Cowork now doesn't stop them being true. Right? Yeah. If you ask people what life will look like in 20 years, it's easy to go flying cars and robot cars and stuff. No, it will probably look like how it does now. And I think it's the same for agencies. Other things that came out, everyone's talking about recurring revenue because running an agency is really hard, right? And you don't have the margins and you've got to either build projects or build pipeline, and building both at the same time is really hard, and recurring revenue is the way to get through that. And I think it was Ron that was saying, well, without recurring revenue, what is someone buying with your agency? They're buying a ragtag bunch of designers and builders, right? And it's easy to go out and hire them. So that focus on recurring revenue, is really powerful. But I picked up something from Sandra.
And
I picked up something from Sandra that was really powerful. She was saying, look, don't just try and make a product in the vain search for recurring revenue, right? It doesn't work like that. We know you need recurring revenue. You want it. You can't just think building a product will get you there, because building a product is way harder than a lot of people think. Right. And she came across that, she explored that problem like a real marketer, because she is CMO at Grade and COO, 2 jobs, 2 C-suite jobs. She's a wonder house. She was saying you need to know what people want before you can build it to them. And I think for a lot of agencies,
only two jobs.
Don't know what that's like at Atrim, mate, honestly. But coming back to this, when you're doing a bespoke build, you invest in getting to know what people want, right? And it's the same for products, but people sometimes forget that. So her advice, which is really sobering, really powerful, that I want everybody to remember is, yes, recurring revenue is really important, but there are no shortcuts, right? That's the thing. You can't just go, I've got a good idea, if I build it, they will come. Sometimes it happens, but very rarely. So that was one thing that really came through. And yeah, there was this thing about hang on, let me just bring up my notes. I've got it here.
I hope it's just a sticky note.
No, one of the things that kind of shone for me this week as well is how people are coming at angle, like the same problem from different angles, and Mary's talking about, well, agencies need to start thinking about diversifying because that's important for standing out and being different and acquiring, new customers that way, having an identity. That's why you should branch out. But then Eugene was coming at it from a slightly different angle, going, no, you need to specialize because actually that's what gives you pricing power and that's what gives you kind of, flexibility. And the thing I got looking at the entire week trying to tie everything together was an awful lot of this stuff isn't new.
Yeah, it's the principles of running a business, a good business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A good service business, I think. But yeah, I definitely feel like there's an urgency around recurring revenue now. I think, and this is something that I think Ron Johnson was saying, like, we might be headed towards really tough times coming soon, economically speaking, and recurring revenue is a great kind of life raft to get you through that. So, people have always wanted recurring revenue. It's always been valuable, but I think people are really going to start needing to search for that.
It's a waterfall each time, Ryan. A waterfall.
I'm so tired. I don't know what day it is. In fact, it's actually Friday now. It's 5 till.
Yeah, I work with that every day.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
It's a lot.
Crazy.
I think Jonathan is trying to say something, but it's muted.
Yeah, Jonathan, you're muted.
You think I'd never used StreamYard before, even though I've been on it for like 2.5 years. Okay, so the thing I was thinking about was, I think we're going to look back at the AI shift, because it's the first time in human history that the thoughts of people are being replaced, not just the actions, right? The Industrial Revolution replaced what we could physically do. Now it's replacing what we can mentally do. But for agencies like ours, or people who work in, technology and the thought industries, it's kind of like the washing machine moment, right? We're not having to wash laundry by hand anymore. All that sort of elbow grease, the time we had to spend doing the rote things is kind of done. And so now we get to spend the time strategizing. Now we get to spend the time actually knowing how things work, because an AI, all it's going to give us back still is what people learn. And when we learn new things, because we're a lot more creative thinkers than an AI ever could be, that's when our agencies, and that's when we're going to develop new things that clients may never think of. And yeah, so it's like we don't have to wash clothes by hand anymore. We don't have to wash dishes by hand anymore. We actually got something to do it for us.
Yeah, I love that. And
thank you.
This mic
You're
drop.
more the optimist than waiting for the apocalypse, right?
I'm just the last part of that word now, not the optimist.
Carrie, I would just want to say on record that I don't know you really at all, but I know that we could be friends because of your backgrounds on your screen.
It's just
anybody
back.
that will just anybody that will keep doing the joke until it's not funny to anybody else anymore. That's me and Vito's favorite thing.
How do you feel about Whitesnake? What was it called? What were we drinking, Carrie, that you introduced me to when we played golf?
White Claw.
White Claw.
White Snake is better.
Yeah, White Snake is better. I was thinking of Snake Bite, lager and cider, but it's White Claw.
White Claw.
White Claw. Claw's Law.
We were playing golf with Demo.
Sure.
It's White Snake meets Open Claw.
Yeah, an Open Claw.
Open
That's
Claw.
fun. I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun, that mini golf. I remember it.
That was, yeah.
Guys, what a great week.
Yes, bravo.
Oh, wait, there was one more
It's been
talk.
amazing. It's 1 o'clock in the morning for me. I'm gonna
we can wrap this up.
There was one more talk.
Wine.
There was one more
wine.
talk. There was one talking. It was mine, but I was talking already this entire half of this hour. It feels to me. I was talking so much over the past week. So if you want to watch my talk, go ahead and watch it in there. We're talking about the gift of unlimited scale for the agencies. How does that reality look like? Where exactly as Jonathan was talking about here, where we don't actually need to do the work, we need to manage it. We have the washing machine that actually thinks for us and does all of this kind of stuff. How does that look like in reality on the service delivery? And yeah, you're all welcome to come and watch. Maybe there was a gold nugget from there that someone picked up before we're wrapping up. Steph? Ute?
I did not think you were going to ask a question. I was looking for my my next sound effect I wanted to play.
I'll try and keep this one brief.
No, let me. I got you, V. You're first. What I want to say first of all is, this guy has his finger on the pulse, y'all. Right here. This is Vito. He has been coming out of the gate ahead of time with things. When he is talking, you should listen. Him and Andrew came out with Bertha pre-ChatGPT. They created AI agents in Adorim before AI agents were a thing. Like, this guy is shipping things before they're he's like the hipster of web, right? Like, before they're cool, Vito's doing it. He's bringing it. And it's just really awesome. I feel really happy to be your friend and to be able to do this with you every year. I mean, I'm not trying to make you cry. You know, I don't want to get sentimental or anything, but
I'm tired to cry.
He won't cry. Don't worry about it. He won't cry.
But it's been I like the heart, David. Thank you. It's but really, so the stuff that you're talking about, some of that was a little bit new, and it was a little bit about the features of your product.
Do it.
Yeah, the do it. That's right.
Do it. I wish that volume was louder on the do it sound, but really, most of the things, you've been saying it for years. And I used to joke with you. It's changed now, finally. But last year, do you remember I would joke that I could give your talk for you? Because I'd heard it so many times. Because I'd heard it on the summit multiple years. I'd heard it
That's why it
on
was
the other places you've been.
Right.
And so now,
yeah,
it doesn't really change, though. Like, the things that you have said, like deliver things faster, do them in increments, be consistent. You know, like, you've been saying all of these things over and over again, and you know the toolbox is changing a bit, and some of the little detailed things, but really, if we just think about what we're like, all of it just comes down to those 4 things. What were our 4 things? Ryan, do you have your list?
Allow me to bring that one up. Stand by.
Line. I feel like
line.
We'll edit this out in post, everyone. Sorry for that.
Do it. Come on, we need the list.
Number
Do it.
4, we've got building is commoditized and strategy is the moat. And then number 3, recurring revenue is now mandatory, not optional. Number 2, sell outcomes, not deliverables. Hands up if you've heard that one before.
Yep.
And then number 1, that's number 1 for a reason. It kept coming up. Specialization beats generalism. You've got to be known for something, because if you're not known for something, you're not known for anything.
I think I love that we had that wrap up. Thanks for putting that together, Ryan, and for coming up with the idea for it, Vito. It was really cool to see that too. We think so much is so new, and we get so overwhelmed with all the AI things that we can do. And it's awesome that JJ showed us his chief of staff is an AI bot, and all the other people that showed all the things they're doing. But like, when you distill all of 59 talks, it's still like, have a niche, get recurring revenue. You know, like it's
the path that changed, but the principles remain the same.
Yeah,
exactly. And every year there's new ways of creating recurring revenue in our space. There's new niches to explore, and especially now with this new transition. So it's the principles remain, but the way we get there keeps shifting every year over the past 6 years, and that is the interesting thing to see from my perspective. So if you want to catch the replays, make sure that you go into the Summit's platform, summit.adorim.io, summit.adorim.io. This is going to remain open over the next 7 days. So make sure that you jump on in. You can also jump into the arcades. We're going to keep the games open and live while the summit is there. So if you want to waste your time and laugh a little bit on, while playing video games in an arcade that is built for website agencies, all the games are tailored to our niches.
Except mine.
Except that also makes sense.
Well, I mean, it does have AppSumo involved, but it's
subscription or prescription, right? That was the
subscription or prescription. Do you
Right.
is it an AI app? I mean, is it a AppSumo app or is it a prescription medication that is advertised on television in the United States? That's the rule. It rolls off the tongue, really, you guys, and it's harder than you think.
There's pixel basher and scope creep handling and agency owner tycoon, where you can build your MRR by making the right choices as you play through the game. And so there's a lot of really cool stuff that the team have created for us here. Go on in and check it out. That's where you're also going to find all the partners that have been amazing at supporting us throughout this year, and it's a great opportunity to thank everyone that has been with us this year. That includes, where's the drums? Can we get the drums?
Oh, sorry, I got you.
The Mission Impossible ones.
So
that
long.
includes Blue. Yeah, we got it. That includes Bluehost and Ultahost, Host Armada, Breezy, DocSpot, Duda, MelaPress, InMotion Hosting, Dolly, Focus WP, WP Stream, Termageddon, Cloudfest Americas, where we're going to do a party later this year. If you want to join us in there, that's the place to go to next. And then, of course, hosting.com. And I want to give a special thanks to, first of all, the team, Ryan, Zachary, Shay, Dave, Pete, everyone, Simeon, everyone that has been running this from the back.
Shout out Shay as well.
Yeah. And of course, to all of the amazing speakers that have joined us here for the 6th year in a row. And I can't believe that next year is going to be literally 7. That sounds crazy. But I'm looking forward to it already. We have some really cool stuff planned for the year with the Web Agency Summit brand, I guess, or with that kind of concept. So we're looking forward to sharing more of that with you as the plan comes out throughout the coming year. And of course, thank you to all of the attendees that keep coming back, that are sitting in the chat, that invest in themselves for a few days, and truly look for the way to take things to the next step. That go and I want to even give a special kudos to those that will actually implement. Because watching passively is is great and fun, but actually implementing is a little more challenging. So I would like to challenge everyone to find 1 and 2 gold nuggets from this year's Web Agency Summit and do them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Hold on.
Where is it?
Hold on. Yeah.
Where is it?
I'm coming for it.
Come on, do it.
Yeah. I tried to turn it up as well for you there, Steph.
It was better.
Did he say to us, Steph, by the way? Did he thank us?
Come on, do it. Do it.
Come
on,
Not
do it.
yet. Not yet.
You're right. And
Not
of course,
yet.
to my fellow hosts that have been with us here from year 1. Yeah? No, from
Can you
year
believe it?
2.
I don't think so.
Year
I think
two.
it was year
Year
2.
two,
Yes.
Was
So
I not there
thank you.
year 1? Where was I? What was I doing?
Where
you were
was I?
selling your business to Carrie at the time.
Or somebody.
That's-
Guys,
Yeah.
did you see how many people were on here that Andrew was like, yeah, they bought my business? Well, maybe.
The only two, there's 2 people that weren't on this. It was Melissa Love, who bought Layouts Cloud and Page Builder Cloud.
And there's
I
still
was
some that
well
weren't
ahead.
here. Yeah.
And
so thank you very
Dave
much.
Gray, who bought 47 of them. So there you go.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
is it a
Thank
wrap?
you.
It's a wrap.
So much.
It was fun. Thanks for hanging out for the after party, guys, too. It made it great. Uta, you are the best. Thank you for being
you are the best.
such a loyal participant in the thing and keeping things moving and being willing to jump here on camera and everything. It was great to have you.
I think I think Uta was being modest when she said she only joined 3 sessions because she had a comment for everybody.
She said she only missed 3 sessions.
Only missed 3. Bloody hell. Amazing. I love it.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it feels a bit like after you have read a really thick book or binge watched something on Netflix or something, and I don't want this to. I want this to end, but I don't want this to end, and there's gonna be an emptiness, and I fear to be in the middle of that emptiness in about 10 minutes or something.
But then you'll fall asleep, so it'll be fine.
And, yeah,
and
probably. And I can't wait for next year to
We're all gonna hang out
I
next
can.
Thursday too. I know.
I've got all the patience in the world. I can wait for next year. No problem.
All right. Well, I'll see you next Thursday, Uta. Bye, friends.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks so much, everyone.